Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Daily Easy English Talk. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jack. Thanks for joining us. You know that feeling, right? The deadline's getting closer, and you realize you need a little more time to really get it right. But, how do you ask for that extra time? You want to be graceful, professional. You don't want to sound like you're, dropping the ball.
Exactly. It happens to everyone.
So today, we're diving into exactly that, how to ask for extensions strategically. It's about, having the right words, but also kind of understanding why they work.
Absolutely. Because clear, respectful communication here, it's not just being nice. It's really strategic for managing expectations, and keeping those professional relationships solid.
Yeah, that makes sense. How you ask really matters.
It totally does. It can make the difference between frustration and finding a solution together.
Okay, so let's get into it. We've looked at a few really effective ways to do this. The first one feels, I guess, pretty classic. It's direct, but still polite. Would it be possible to get an extension on this deadline?
Yeah, that's a great one. It's respectful.
What's the thinking behind that phrasing? Why does it land well?
Well, see, how's the question? Would it be possible? You're not demanding anything. You're inviting them into a discussion.
Okay.
It shows you respect their schedule, their priorities. It kind of shifts it from my problem to let's see what we can do. Makes people more open to helping generally.
Right. And often you need to give a reason, even a short one, like adding, I want to make sure it's done properly. That seems smart, connecting it to the quality.
Oh, definitely. Linking it to quality, like doing it properly, is key. It shifts the focus. It's not about you struggling. It's about commitment to a good result.
So it's not an excuse. It's about the work itself.
Exactly. It aligns what you need more time with what they want, which is, a high quality outcome. It just works.
Okay, got it. Now, what about something a bit more conversational, maybe for teams where you know people better? Like, can we push the deadline back a little?
Yeah, that one's good too. It's definitely more casual.
Does it still feel professional enough?
I think so, yeah, especially if you've got that existing rapport. It's still a clear question, and the we implies it's kind of a shared thing, the timeline.
Right, yeah.
It just opens the door for a quick chat, an adjustment, rather than a big formal request. And again, good to follow up with a quick reason, like you said, I need more time to finalize everything. Simple.
So it's about knowing your context, the relationship.
For sure.
Okay, but what if things have already gone a bit sideways? You're not going to make it. How do you break that news? We found this one. I'm afraid I won't be able to meet the deadline. Could we consider an extension? Feels very upfront.
It is, and that upfront honesty is really valuable. It's about taking ownership.
Okay.
When you just state it plainly, I'm afraid I won't make it, you're being transparent. And then asking, could we consider, again, brings them into the solution. You're not hiding it, you're tackling it proactively.
So they're not caught off guard later.
Exactly. They can adjust their plans. It actually builds a lot of trust, shows you're responsible, even when things aren't perfect.
Right. Transparency builds trust. That makes sense. Okay, let's talk about framing again. What about specifically highlighting the quality angle? Like, to ensure quality, I'd appreciate a bit more time.
Yes. This one is really clever framing. See, you're not asking for time for you.
Oh.
You're asking for time for the work, for the quality.
So it's about the project's success.
Precisely. If you say, to ensure quality, I'd appreciate a bit more time to work on the report, it just lands differently than I need more time. It shows your priority is excellence, which is usually their priority too, turns the request into a shared goal for a better result.
Yeah, I can see that. It shifts it from I have a problem to I'm committed to doing this well. Okay, one more. What about when you're already delayed, things are happening right now, and you need to be direct, but also offer a solution? Something like, I'm currently facing a delay. Would an extra day or two be okay?
This one is super effective because it's so practical.
How so?
Well, it's direct, I'm facing a delay. Acknowledges reality. But then it immediately offers a specific, usually manageable solution, an extra day or two.
Takes the guesswork out for them.
Exactly. No ambiguity. You're not just dumping a problem on them. You're saying, here's the issue, and here's a small, concrete fix I'm proposing. Makes it really easy for them to say yes, or at least discuss that specific time frame.
It's really about being clear, proactive, and solution-focused, isn't it?
That's the core idea, yeah. These phrases, they're not just polite scripts. They really are tools for navigating these common, sometimes tricky situations smoothly.
And for building trust along the way.
Absolutely. Choosing your words carefully, strategically, it really empowers you, helps you manage expectations, communicate effectively, and yeah, often strengthens those connections.
So for everyone listening, maybe think about this.
Yeah.
Beyond just deadlines, where else could having some clear, prepared phrases like these help you communicate more effectively, maybe more confidently?
Yeah, and this raises an important question for you, the listener. How does the medium of communication, whether it's an email, a Slack message, maybe a phone call, and the nature of your relationship with the other party, how does that truly influence which phrase you should choose? These examples help us see those subtleties, showing how just a slight tweak in wording can dramatically alter the perception and ultimately the effectiveness of your request. It's all about contextual intelligence in communication. Understanding that different relationships and different platforms, they require different approaches.
Okay, let's start with a really common scenario. An internal team message. You're working closely with your colleagues, right? There's often that unspoken understanding of each other's workloads, and the final draft is due tomorrow. It's a tight deadline, and you need to communicate quickly, transparently. So I'll set the scene, stating the deadline. The final draft is due tomorrow.
And I'm the person needing an extension. I'm afraid I won't be able to meet the deadline. Could we consider a short extension?
Okay. So what does this all mean for an internal team? In that quick exchange, what stood out to you? Why is that particular phrasing, I'm afraid I won't be able to meet? Why is it so effective in that close-knit environment where, candor is often really prized?
Well, in an internal team setting, transparency and directness aren't just valued, they're often essential for keeping things efficient and maintaining trust, right?
Yeah.
The phrase, I'm afraid I won't be able to meet the deadline, it's incredibly honest, unambiguous. Your team members, they need to know the reality of the situation without any hedging. Not because they're budging you necessarily, but so they can quickly adjust their own plans, maybe reallocate resources, or even offer support if they can. There's usually an inherent trust within a team that allows for this level of candor. If you were vague, it could just foster resentment or speculation.
Right, yeah.
And the addition of short extension, that's also critical here. It signals consideration for the overall team timelines, and it indicates you have a definite plan. It avoids that open-ended uncertainty that can really derail other people's work.
All right, next up, a classic. An email to your manager. This often requires a bit more formality, maybe a bit more strategic thinking. If you want to maintain that strong professional image, convey reliability, even when you're asking for something that might seem like a delay. So I'll be the employee sending the email. To ensure quality, I'd appreciate a bit more time to review the data. Would Friday still work?
Playing the manager, giving a positive, acknowledging sound. Okay.
Okay, so that's a classic email scenario. Why is that specific phrasing, particularly the to ensure quality part, why is that so strong when you're communicating upwards to a manager, especially one with a packed schedule? What makes it stand out as a really effective approach?
Well, this approach is incredibly strategic when communicating with a manager because it proactively frames your request in terms of a direct, tangible benefit to them and to the project's success.
Okay.
To ensure quality. That immediately positions your request not as some personal convenience or a shortfall on your part, but as a commitment to delivering a superior product. Managers, they're ultimately responsible for outcomes, right? They often have their own superiors to report to. So aligning your request with quality, that's a powerful motivator for them to grant it. It tacks right into their vested interests in the best possible result.
Right.
The phrase, I'd appreciate a bit more time, is respectful, polite, shows deference without being, subservient. But the real masterstroke here, I think, is the proactive offer of a new deadline. Would Friday still work?
Yeah, that's good.
This shifts the burden. It
Hmm.
means your manager doesn't have to figure out a new date or chase you for one. You've done the thinking for them, you've assessed what you need, and you're proposing a concrete, actionable solution.
Okay, now let's jump into the world of rapid-fire communication. A Slack chat. We all know conciseness is absolutely key here. Quick, clear messages are the norm, and long explanations often just get scrolled past. So I'm a colleague asking for an update. Is the presentation ready for Thursday?
And I'm the one needing the extension. I'm currently facing a delay. Would an extra day or two be okay?
Okay, in a quick-fire Slack message, conciseness is paramount. How does this example hit the mark so perfectly for that fast-paced environment? What makes it so effective given the communication style of platforms like Slack?
Well, this example is just a masterclass in efficiency for a rapid communication platform like Slack. I'm currently facing a delay. It's incredibly concise and factual. It states the reality without needing a lengthy explanation or some emotional preamble, which is exactly what you want in a medium that's just not suited for verbose discussions.
Right. Get to the point.
Exactly. People on Slack are typically looking for quick updates, actionable information, not these drawn-out narratives. Following up immediately with the specific, would an extra day or two be okay, provides that immediate clarity on the revised timeline. This allows the recipient to quickly assess the impact on their own schedule or on the project timeline without needing to ask follow-up questions.
Okay, this next one can feel high stakes.
Yeah.
A client check-in call. Your reputation, maybe even future business, can hinge on how you handle these moments. So imagine you've got a client expecting an update today, and you know you're not quite ready. So I am the client. We were expecting the update today.
And I'm the service provider needing the extension.
I understand. Would it be possible to get an extension? I want to make sure everything is correct.
Oof. Yeah, that can be a tense moment, can't it? What makes this response so incredibly effective in that high-pressure client situation where trust and quality are just paramount?
This response is incredibly effective because it immediately prioritizes the client's perspective and their core concerns, which are usually about reliability and quality. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. The opening, I understand, that is absolutely crucial. It acknowledges the client's expectation, implicitly validates it. That can immediately diffuse any potential frustration or disappointment they might be feeling. You're showing empathy and active listening before you even state your request. Establishing rapport.
That's smart.
Following up with, would it be possible to get an extension? Maintains that politeness, that professionalism. It places the ball respectfully in the client's court for their approval. It's not a demand. It's a polite inquiry that respects their authority and decision-making power. But the truly paramount addition, especially when dealing with clients, is I want to make sure everything is correct. This directly reaffirms your commitment to quality and accuracy.
Okay, finally, let's imagine you're in a collaborative project meeting. This is a forum for open discussion, collective decision-making, and often, dynamic adjustments. You need to propose a timeline shift that impacts the whole team. So, I'm the team member needing the extension.
Yeah.
Can we push the deadline back a little? I need time to finalize the visuals.
Laying the team, perhaps with a sound of agreement.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. So, in a collaborative project meeting like that, how does that phrase, can we push? How does it foster agreement and understanding among the whole group? Why is this collaborative framing so powerful in that setting?
Well, in a group setting, like a project meeting, the phrase, can we push the deadline back a little, is incredibly powerful, precisely because of its inherently collaborative nature. It doesn't present the problem as solely yours. It invites collective problem solving rather than being a unilateral request. By using we, you're engaging the team in the solution. You're implying that this adjustment benefits everyone because it leads to a better project overall. This approach taps into group dynamics, fostering a sense of shared responsibility rather than an individual burden.
Right, we're in this together.
Exactly. And by immediately providing a clear, concise reason, I need time to finalize the visuals, you explain the why. You allow the entire team to understand the scope of the delay and its specific benefit to the project's overall success. Visuals, for example, are often a key component of client satisfaction or internal buy-in, so investing more time there is clearly a positive for everyone.
Yeah, good point. Now that we've unpacked these incredibly useful phrases, we've seen them in action across various scenarios, let's actively think about how you can directly apply them. Put them into practice in your own life.
This practice is how you internalize the principles we've discussed, allowing you to adapt them to, well, a myriad of situations.
Okay, situation one. Imagine this. You've hit an unforeseen snag. Maybe an unexpected issue just popped up, or the scope of the task expanded slightly beyond what you initially thought, and the clock is ticking down to a deadline you now know you can't realistically meet. You need to communicate this need professionally, promptly. What's your immediate go-to phrase to convey this need without causing alarm or, seeming disengaged?
Okay, in this general but very common situation, the suggested ideal phrase is, would it be possible to get an extension on this deadline?
Back to number one.
Back to number one. Why this one? Well, it's universally applicable precisely because it's direct, polite, and respectful. It doesn't commit you to a specific reason right up front, which gives you the flexibility to provide more detail if necessary, but it focuses directly on the request itself. This makes it incredibly versatile for various contexts, whether you're talking to a close colleague, your direct manager, or even an external vendor. It's almost always appropriate.
Yeah.
Its polite framing allows for that open dialogue without demanding anything.
Okay, situation two. Here's another common one. You genuinely need more time. Maybe it's to refine something crucial, or to double-check some complex data, or simply to ensure the final deliverable is truly excellent, not just good enough. But you want to make absolutely sure your unwavering commitment to the project shines through. You don't want it to seem like just a casual desire for more leisure time or, a perceived lack of effort. How do you articulate that need for time with grace and professionalism, proactively countering any of those potential negative assumptions?
Okay, for this situation, to ensure quality, I'd appreciate a bit more time, is the absolutely perfect fit.
The quality angle again.
Exactly. It proactively addresses any potential negative perceptions, laziness, a disorganization, lack of commitment by explicitly linking your request for an extension to a positive, highly valued outcome, higher quality work. What's fascinating here, again, is how it reframes the delay. It's not a drawback, it's an investment in excellence. You're essentially telling the recipient, look, I value this project and I value delivering something exceptional, so I need this additional time to meet that high standard. This shifts the focus entirely from personal convenience or some perceived shortfall on your part to professional diligence and an unwavering commitment to the integrity and caliber of the output.
Right.
It subtly communicates your dedication, your foresight, showing that your priority is always the best possible result, not just hitting a date arbitrarily.
All right, situation three. Imagine a scenario where things just aren't going as smoothly as planned. Maybe a critical resource is suddenly unavailable, or you've encountered an unforeseen technical hurdle that has led to a definite, measurable setback. You need to communicate this delay and proactively seek assistance in adjusting the timeline. You need to demonstrate that you're managing the situation, not just reporting a problem you can't handle.
Right. In this specific scenario, I'm currently facing a delay. Would an extra day or two be okay? Is highly effective.
The specific time frame again.
Exactly. It's concise and transparent about the current status. You're not sugarcoating it, but you're also not catastrophizing. You're simply stating a factual setback directly and clearly. Crucially, you immediately follow that up by offering a specific, limited solution. By suggesting an extra day or two, you're demonstrating that you've already assessed the problem, you understand its scope, and you have a clear, contained proposal for moving forward. This approach is solution-focused. It shows you're not just identifying a problem, but actively managing it and proposing a resolution that requires minimal disruption.
Okay, so we've covered the foundational phrases, we've seen them in action, which is incredibly powerful stuff. But a true deep dive into deadline management, It goes beyond just the words, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It's really about the entire mindset, the strategies surrounding the request. These powerful phrases we discussed, combined with that strategic mindset and proactive communication, they aren't about making excuses. They're about demonstrating proactive, responsible communication and an unwavering commitment to excellence. They are really indispensable tools to empower you to maintain control, build profound trust, and consistently deliver high-quality work.
Exactly.
Consider how often maybe we don't ask for an extension when we genuinely should. Perhaps out of fear, or that misplaced sense of obligation, or maybe just not knowing the right words. And think about the hidden costs of delivering rushed, subpar work versus the immense benefits of a well-communicated, quality delivery. What opportunities for better communication, for better outcomes, and for strengthening your professional relationships are you potentially missing out on? Simply by not knowing the right words to say, or the right way to frame your needs and manage expectations. Take these insights, try applying them immediately, and watch how your professional interactions can transform. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep diving deep.